Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you my tips and tricks on how to wash your makeup brushes and sponges. I'm going to explain why it's so important to wash them regularly. I'm going to show you the products that I use to wash them and show you actual video of me washing mine so you know how long it takes and what to expect. So one thing that always surprises me is when I'm at my friends' houses or doing their makeup and I'm just using their products and tools, I'm always like, when was the last time you washed your brushes? Like, why are they so matted down? Like, how do you use this? And they're always like, oh gosh, I never wash mine. So that kind of prompted me to make this video and just remind you guys to wash your brushes regularly and teach you how to do it. I mean, really, the reason you want to wash your makeup brushes is because it makes them so much easier to use. If your brushes aren't matted down and the bristles aren't coated, it's gonna glide smoother, it's gonna blend better, and you're gonna like your makeup look a whole lot more. So I feel like that should be the reason that compels you to wash them the most. But for me, the main reason that I wash my brushes is because bacteria. Because brush hairs and sponges are porous, they actually really hold on to your oils, your dead skin, your makeup, the debris, everything that you use when you apply your brushes, and like everything on your skin. So your skincare products, your primer, everything is sticking to your brushes. So if you clean your brushes, they're just gonna work better, but they're also not gonna be harboring bacteria, which could lead to further infections, staph infections, acne, styes, like especially around your eyes. So one question I always get is how often should you wash your makeup brushes? And I say as often as possible. Most dermatologists will tell you at least once a week. I do mine probably every 2 weeks or so. Now, obviously, if you didn't use the brush in this last cycle, you don't need to wash that brush. I would say because there is dust and particles constantly flying around our house, they can sit on your makeup brushes. So if you just know there's some brushes you rarely touch, just put them in a drawer or like even in a plastic baggie and just keep them covered. And then you really don't have to worry about that brush until you use it. And then if that's the case, just wash it, put it back when it's dry. You really don't need much to wash your makeup brushes. I mean, running water and shampoo, and you can wash all your brushes just fine. You also probably want like a paper towel and a ledge to lay them out. Over the years, I have accumulated a few tools that I find really help me wash my brushes, and I've also tested a lot of different brush shampoos, and I find that honestly, baby shampoo works just fine for me. So I have this big container, I got it at Target. I wanna say it's like $6, and it lasts you a long time. So this could work. You could also use Dawn dish soap. If you're trying to go for a more clean option, I also like Dr. Bronner's. You can use regular shampoo. For me, I just think if a product is really expensive, I don't want to use as much. So something like baby shampoo, where it's $6 for this giant container. I don't know if it's $6, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna be okay using more. So a few other purchases I've made over the years. This is a brush drying rack. Like how many brushes it holds. So all you do is you wash the brush and then you just stick it up in there like that. This allows all the water to run out of the brush. It doesn't absorb into the shaft, which is good because that can cause mildew. So like you never want to store your damp makeup brushes like this. You want to always have them hanging upside down, or you can always just lay them flat on your counter, like hang them off over the edge. You can lay them on a paper towel. I always use a paper towel because they are flat and they dry a lot faster than a regular towel, and then you can just toss it when you're done. But I mean, really, lay them flat. You can buy this thing, I think it was $10. Another tool that I like to use when I wash my makeup brushes is this brush cleansing mat. And it's nice because it has these little suction things on the back. You just suction it to your sink and it stays in place as you run the bristles around. This isn't necessary though. So I'm gonna show you, you can use your hand, no problem, it's fine. I just find that this makes washing your brushes a little bit faster and it's kind of fun, but I really only use this one portion, so you don't need one this big. Like all of these other ones, I seriously never touch them. And when I first got this, I bought one off Amazon. It was light pink, and within 2 months it was brown, and it bothered me. So I ended up buying this Sigma one, which was more expensive. It was $35, and it came with a brush that I actually didn't love. But I love how it doesn't look dirty. So if you're gonna get one of these, I do suggest a darker color. I'll link this exact one if you wanna try it, but I mean, it really doesn't matter. And like I said, you can use your hands and it's just fine. So I'll wash my brushes like right after I finish my makeup or right before bed, or just on the day where I know I'm not gonna wear makeup, because it can take overnight for them to dry. And this will just guarantee that when you go to use them, they will be dry. So the way you clean your brushes is really easy. What you do is turn your water on. I prefer using warm water just because it feels better on my hands. You don't need to, I mean, cold or hot, it's totally up to you. And then you put your brush right under the running water and just get them really wet. If your brushes aren't completely soaked through, it just makes it harder to lather with the soap. So then I put the brush shampoo directly on the bristles. I put a big glob, especially on my bigger brushes, and you just start massaging them around in your palm and then kind of squeeze it through, massage it, squeeze it through, massage it. That just helps you see if the makeup's actually coming off, if you have enough product, if it's wet enough. And then I'll run it under the faucet and rinse it out. So this is when you can see if there's still shampoo or makeup left over in the bristles, because when you're running them under the water, you kind of squeeze them out. And if it gets bubbly or if you see a lot of brown coming through, just wash it again. So sometimes it'll take me a few times to get them really clean. Another thing that is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is, especially with some makeup products more than others, is they dye your white brushes brown or whatever color you used, and it doesn't mean the brush isn't clean, so it's really hard to tell. So that's why I like that squeezing method, because it helps you see, okay, there's still makeup on here, or sometimes like if the makeup is really packed into the brush, it's hard to get shampoo deep into it, so washing it a few times is necessary. Now I'm going to show you how I use the brush washing mat. So it has those suctions on the bottom, press it down into the sink, and then get the brush really wet. I'm going to use Dawn dish soap on this brush. So rub the brush on the mat, and I like that one corner. I find that it works the best. It really gets the foundation out of the brush. So I usually use the mat for brushes that I use liquid products on, because it's able to really get deep into the bristles, and then do the same squeeze and rinse method. And then when you're done, squeeze all the moisture out of the brush. You can literally kind of just squeeze it down like this, or squeeze it this way, whatever works for you. I'm like getting grossed out. I'm touching this brush, it's dirty. But I need to go wash my brushes. But you just squeeze it completely out when there's no more water, bubbles, anything coming out. And that's when you hang it dry. So there's a couple options here. You can lay it completely flat on a paper towel. This is fine. You can also put something underneath here to keep the brush bristles pointing down. You can hang them off of your countertop like this, or you can get your brush drying rack and hang it this way. So one of the reasons I really like having this brush drying rack is because it guarantees that all of the water is gonna run down and away from the shaft. So where the bristles are attached to the shaft is glued, and too much water or even like shampoo getting up in there can deteriorate the glue, and your brushes won't last quite as long. So this will just guarantee that your brushes last a long time. I've had some of my brushes for over a decade. If you take good care of them, they will last longer. If you're noticing that when you're washing your brushes, a lot of bristles are coming out, it could mean that it's time to let that brush go. If it's really old, then it's probably just starting to shed too much and you're not gonna have enough hair to create the look that you want. Or if it's brand new, it might just have that initial shedding, but if it keeps shedding, return it. Brushes are expensive, so taking care of your brushes by washing them regularly will just ensure that they live as long as possible. Okay, now let's get into washing your makeup sponges. I wash mine every time I use them, just because I'm pretty neurotic about bacteria and things on my face, and also I just think it's kind of gross that they have all of this old foundation from last time you did your makeup soaked into the sponge. You also get them damp before you use them anyway, so you might as well get it wet, clean it, and then use your sponge. So what you do is you run it under water, you can kind of squeeze it through, and the sponge will grow, it will expand. So apply soap directly to the brush, squeeze it through, you'll see a bunch of makeup come off. Keep rinsing, and then when you keep squeezing and there's no bubbles coming out, that's when you're done, and that's it. And then to dry them, I just grab a fresh paper towel and squeeze them dry, and then I'll go do my makeup. You also want to wash your eyelash curler regularly because your eyes actually harbor a ton of bacteria. So there's a couple ways to do that. One, you could just grab a wipe. These are the Kirkland ones. They're just daily facial towelettes, and you can wipe it down. Or I have alcohol in a little spray bottle, and then you can just put it on a cotton pad, spray it, and this will disinfect it, and you literally just wipe it down. and you can see makeup comes off of it. I like this because sometimes when I use eyelash curlers, they clamp onto my lashes and rip them out if there's a bunch of buildup from like old mascara. So this is good to just get all of the buildup off. All right, those are my brush washing tips. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions or a shampoo that you absolutely love, share them with me. I'd love to try them. And if you like videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you guys next time.